Good evening. Welcome back to the Horror Metal channel. I'm back with yet another list. This is going to be my top 10 death metal albums. I already did thrash metal, now I'm doing death metal, so so let's go and get started. Without further ado, number 10, Left Hand Path by Entombed. I love this album, it's amazing. Nicky Anderson and company really had their stuff together when they made this. Great. We got some great tracks like the title track, Drowned, Revel in Flesh, When Life Has Ceased, Supposed to Rot, Bitter Loss, Morbid Devourment, Abnormally Deceased. So many good ones, so many classics. Just a great album. I suggest if you're a fan of death metal, definitely check it out because it's awesome. Alright, next we got number 9, Nunservile by Autopsy. This probably should be higher, but oh well. Yeah, Lord Worm is one of my favorite death metal vocalists. His vocals are nothing short of indecipherable as hell. You really can't understand what he's saying at all. But I kind of like that. He sounds like an animal. It's just that inhuman growl that he has is just unparalleled. I know a lot of death metal vocalists try to sound like him, and for good reason, because he's amazing. Yeah, we got Crown of Horns, Slit Your Guts, probably my favorite song on the album, Graves of the Fathers, Dead and Dripping, and Orgiastic Disembowelment. Yeah, great album. Definitely check it out, because it rocks. Death metal at its finest. And it's really sad that what Autopsy has become. Lord Worm left. He came back briefly, but it wasn't the same. And they're really not the same band anymore. It's kind of like Sepultura. It's just not the same. Alright, anyway, next. Number 8, Symphonies at Cygnus by Carcass. Oh yeah, I had to have some Carcass on this list. And this is just the finest hour in my opinion. Bill Steer and Jeff Walker really, and Ken Owen, the drummer, really outdid themselves this time. I like how they all do vocals, they all switch off. Bill Steer has kind of a more low, guttural growl, kind of sounds like Chris Barnes a little bit. Jeff Walker has a more higher screech. And then Ken Owen just kind of does some random noises, gurgling and mumbling in the background, for the most part. And it's really cool. Really sounds cool when all put together. But yeah, Symphonies and Cygnus by Carcass. There's way too many great songs to name. There's so many songs. There's 26 tracks, which is a lot. There's too many good songs to name, so I'm just going to say, check the album out. You won't be disappointed. Alright, number 7. This is the album that possibly invented death metal, maybe. It's debatable, but it's 7 Churches by Possessed. Yeah, Jeff Becerra and Larry Lalonde and company really put together a great record. Larry Lalonde, of course, is in Primus now, so if you didn't know that, the guitarist of Possessed is now in Primus. Or the guitarist of Primus used to be in Possessed, however way you want to look at it. We have The Exorcist, Pentagram, Burning in Hell, Evil Warriors, the title track, Satan's Curse, Holy Hell, Twisted Minds, Fallen Angel, and Death Metal, appropriate title. They could have called the album that, Death Metal. It could have been like Venom with the black metal. But 7 Churches is probably a cooler title. Yeah, really sad. Jeff Becerra is paralyzed now, but he's still rocking. He was shot. He was in an accident where he was shot, and well, I guess it wasn't really an accident, but anyway, he was shot and he's paralyzed now, but he's still rocking. He's still fronting the band to this day, and he's still awesome. Hell yeah! If that's not inspirational, I don't know what is. But yeah, check it out. 7 Churches by Possessed. Number 6, Severed Survival by Autopsy. This had to make the list. I love Autopsy. They're one of my favorite death metal bands of all time. They're just amazing. Chris Fair plays drums and sings. Isn't that crazy? He used to play for Death as well. He used to be the drummer of Death on Scream Bloody Gore. And now he's in Autopsy, and he plays drums and does vocals at the same time. That's got to be hard, man. That's got to be really hard. Anyway, we have Charred Remains, Service for a Vacant Coffin, Disembowel, Gasping for Air, Ridden with Disease, Impending Dread, the title track, Embalmed, and several bonus tracks on disc 2. This is the special edition version, so if you're going to own Severed Survival, definitely get this release, because it's awesome. Just got all the bonus tracks and all the special features. All the bells and whistles. Yeah, Chris Fair is 2 talented for Frozen, good, and Danny Corrales and Eric Cutler. Let's just say that their riffs are some of my all-time favorite in death metal. Absolutely. They're just awesome. They're right up there with Cannibal Corpse with the riffs, man. The riffs! Love it. Alright, down to the top 5. Number 5, Legion by Deicide. This had to make the list as well. Glenn Benton and Steve Ashheim and the Hoffman brothers did a great job here. Sad the Hoffman brothers aren't with the band anymore. It's really not the same. They've really lost themselves, unfortunately. They used to be really, really awesome. And I think they still are, for the most part, but they're not nearly as good as they used to be. It's just because they were so great at one time that it's really hard to keep that up, I guess. I know a lot of people agree, but I still think they're good, so... Yeah, the Hoffman brothers on guitar, their riffs and solos are just breathtaking. Glenn Benton's awesome vocals. He switches from low growls to high screams. It just sounds amazing. He really did it. I think he was the best on this record. But anyway, we have Satan Spawn, the Kaiko Demon, Dead But Dreaming, Repent to Die, Trifiction, Behead the Prophet, Holy Deception, In Hell I Burn, and Revocate the Agitator. Kind of a short album, only 8 tracks, but I guess that's kind of the standard for most albums, but a lot of these have like 10 plus. So, but yeah, this is definitely belongs in your collection if you're a death metal fan. Check it out. Number 4, Cause of Death by Obituary. Yeah, this is another one that just had to make the list. John Tardy, the vocalist, and his brother Donald Tardy, the drummer, were just amazing on this album. Then we had James Murphy on guitar, Frank Watkins on bass, Trevor Pears on second guitar. Everybody did an amazing job. And I think this is their finest hour. It was a close one between this and Slowly We Rot, but I went with this one because I think it's just a little bit better. We have Infected, Body Bag, Chopped in Half, Circle of the Tyrants, which is a Celtic Frost cover, Dying, Finally Arise, the title track, Memories Remain, Turn Inside Out. And there's a few demo versions of some of the songs. This is the special edition, both the bonus tracks. But yeah. If you're a death metal fan, this belongs in your collection. Obituary! So, one of the most violent, one of the most aggressive records I've ever heard. Alright, number 3 had to be Tomb of the Mutilated by Cannibal Corpse. What more can I say? Chris Barnes, his inhuman grunts and growls were just their best on this album. His gutturals, nobody can do the gutturals like him. And his lyrics are just sick. I'd read an excerpt from them, but I don't know if I should. They're very gory, very gruesome, very graphic stuff. Alex Webster's my favorite bassist, my favorite death metal bassist by far. He's just amazing. This is back when they had Bob Rouse. This was his last album with the band before he was replaced by Rob Barrett. And yeah, this is back when Jack Owen was in the band. Jack Owen's one of my favorite death metal guitarists. I really wish he would have stayed with them. I liked when him and Pat O'Brien were in the band. Yeah, Chris Barnes would only be on one more album, The Bleeding, before he left too, and was replaced by George Fisher, my favorite death metal vocalist of all time. But this is still my favorite Cannibal Corpse album. It's got Hammer Smashed Face on it. Need I say more? But yeah, it slays. It's sick. And it's just amazing. I love the horror movie inspired lyrics. Cannibal Corpse is the band that got me into death metal. Actually, they were my gateway band. So if it wasn't for this record, I might not be making this video. I might not be a death metal fan. But who knows? All right. Anyway, let's move on. Number 2, Covenant by Morbid Angel. I already talked about this a lot in my top 10 albums in general video, and I think I even reviewed this one, didn't I? Didn't I review Covenant? It was either this or Altars. I think it was this one that I reviewed. But anyway, we got Rapture, Pain Divine, Vengeance is Mine. That song was on the Night of Demons 2 soundtrack. The Lion's Den, Blood on My Hands, Angel of Disease, which guitarist Trey Adsikdo does the vocals on. At least I think he does. It doesn't sound like David Vincent, who was the vocalist on this album and bassist. Sword of the Black, God of Emptiness, which is an awesome track. I like how it has some clean vocals, which is they're really a unique death metal band. They don't sound like anybody else, which I really appreciate. At least they didn't used to. That raspy, demonic hiss that David Vincent used to have was just immaculate. I love it so much. But, and Trey Adsikdo is my second favorite death metal guitarist of all time. You'll find out who my first favorite is here in a minute. But anyway, yeah, Covenant by Morbid Angel. Check it out. Now let's do some honorable mentions. This one right here, this next one, this first honorable mention should have made the list. I wanted it to make the list, but I like these other albums just slightly more. This would have been number 11, and that's Effigy of the Forgotten by Suffocation. Yeah, Frank Mullen and company did a great job here. I really wanted this to make the list, but alas, the other, again, as I said, the others are just slightly better. But, yeah, this would have been 11. Effigy of the Forgotten by Suffocation. Gotta love it. Also, Here and After by Immolation. Yes, Ross Dolan, who's on bass and vocals, is another really indecipherable vocalist. You can barely understand what he's saying, and I kind of like that. But yeah, Immolation, they're amazing. Check them out. Piece of Time by Atheist. Gotta love that. They're like the Metallica of death metal, if that makes any sense. And early Metallica. Anyway. Let Us Pray by Vital Remains. My favorite Vital Remains record. It's their first one, and it's still their best. Oh yeah, I wish they still had Jeff Gruslin. He was a great vocalist. And the riffs by Paul Flynn on lead guitar were really good. Really moving for death metal. Vital Remains, check them out. They got Glenn Benton singing for them now, I think. Anyway, the number 1 death metal album is Leprosy by Death. Chuck Schuldiner is my favorite death metal guitarist of all time. And one of my favorite death metal vocalists as well. We had Rick Ross on guitar. He was sick, just brutal as hell. Bill Andrews on drums, yes. And Terry Butler on bass. Flawless lineup. And we had we got the title track, Born Dead, Forgotten Past, Left to Die, Pull the Plug, Open Casket, Primitive Ways, and Choke on It. Gotta love Leprosy. It's amazing. I talked about this one on my top 10 albums in general list as well, so I won't go into too much further detail. I'll just say that if you're a fan of death metal, check it out. If you're just getting into death metal, Death would be a very good place to start. For sure. Alright guys, well, that about does it. Got a lot of good stuff to listen to right here. I think I'll go do that right now. Alright guys, well thank you for watching my show. Thank you for watching the Horror Metal channel. I'm your host, Hellhound, and that was my top 10 death metal albums. Feel free to leave your choices in the comments below, or better yet, make a video. Tell them Hellhound sent you. Consider this a tag video if you want. My next video, actually my next video is probably going to be Sean Urshan's tag about the Alien franchise. Looking forward to that one. That's going to be a lot of fun. Then I'm going to move on to my top 10 favorite black metal albums. So I'll see you there. See you then. Later.